confided in you guys. No one listens to this, right? Like no one. This is between us. It's not going to be released anywhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
just making sure. The only thing I was going to say is that I would much rather pay the creator directly and just cut out all the other bullshit. And that's just why bother? Why bother getting Pepsi involved? Like, who cares?
Yeah, no, and I love that model too, because then it really allows them the confidence to just make whatever they want. Anyway, we should probably get rolling. We're already 15 minutes in. Nah.
Anyway,
welcome to Midnight Masterminds, screenplays, movie news, and reviews podcasts, and also sometimes we talk about TV, comics, and video games, but much rarer on that shit. My name is Tyler, and joining me today are Brian and Wyatt.
Brianer?
Yellow.
And
today are you Brian or Brianer?
It's Brianer. It's if you say my name really fast.
Brianer. Oh, Brianer.
For Bryn. Today we're talking about Godzilla vs. Kong, aka the savior of the movie industry, and
aka Lizard versus Monkey.
Return to Monkey.
AKA
and we're also talking
really
about
fun.
aka really fun, spoiler alert, and some other movie related news and the movies that we're most excited to see in theaters when we're all shot full of that anti-COVID juice and can go back to movies.
Like me.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna be just licking the walls.
Seriously, I'm gonna just eat popcorn off of the floor.
I went to the movies 2 times this week, and for the first time since it happened, so like over a year. And oh my god, it's just as great as you remember it.
Well,
that's how I saw Godzilla versus King Kong, and today I watched Nobody.
Which, how was it?
No one told me that it was in the John Wick universe. I knew it was made by the John Wick guys.
Oh, really? It's in the universe? I didn't know that either. I don't think that was...
It might be.
That might have been a spoiler. What?
Out of nowhere in the middle of the movie, he's getting to the point where he's like, shit's getting real. I better get my gold. He goes in, he starts pulling out the gold bars, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on. And I'm like, I wish I could fucking rewind, because I'm pretty sure he's piling in those same gold bars that John Wick has. And I thought it was a subtle nod.
It's probably just a nod, but if you spoiled that for me, I'm gonna kill you.
I'm pretty sure it's in the John Wick universe.
Buddy, I'm gonna straight up like sniper shoot dairy into all of your meals for the rest of your life.
All I told you was that he has gold.
That's true.
And then this could be a deep-seated conspiracy theory.
You know who else has gold? The makers of Godzilla vs. Kong, because it made a mint, dude. It didn't just do well for a movie released during COVID. It did well for a movie. It raked in $48.5 million domestic in its first 5 days. Not only is that good for one of these Monsterverse movies, that like tripled the previous record for a movie released during the pandemic, which was Wonder Woman 1984, I believe. And that's also not taking into account all the money from new HBO subscriptions or people who already had an HBO subscription but kept it because of Godzilla vs. Kong, which is a hard thing to quantify. But yeah.
I honestly think that, like, I know there's a lot of controversy around HBO's decision. It's like mainly coming from directors, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Like,
but he's kind of like
sad.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, that's a whole thing, but I do think it was an incredible move.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they're marketing it really well, and like, I don't know, it's been fun even at home to watch these movies. And like, I think they've kept a lot of people on HBO for it.
That's why I signed up for my own HBO, because I never know if my dad's going to take our family's HBO account out behind the woodshed and blow its brains out because it's not usable anymore. He has a lot of weird opinions about content.
Why would he do that?
He has a lot of weird opinions about content.
There's so much good stuff.
He opened up HBO while I was home for Christmas and was like, there's no good shit on here. And I'm like, Dad.
What?
There's so much.
Dad.
There's a lot.
It's literally the bleeding edge for premium streamable content right now. They're like the only ones doing consistently good shit.
I mean, I'm a hoe for HBO, which they should use in their marketing.
I'm a hoe for HBO.
But
drop your pants.
But regardless, yeah, I think it was a great plan, and if nothing else, I think it's doing nothing but proving that people want to go back to movie theaters, and it's good because like I just a lot of conversations I've had with industry people that I know is the worry that it's never going to be the same. That's not like a question. It's never going to be the same. But the worry was that streaming was just going to take over and movie theaters were just going to start closing and closing and closing.
I was never really worried
Me
about
neither.
that.
Me neither.
Just because so many people see the value and how much better it is to watch it. I mean, I could have, leading up to when I went to see Godzilla vs. King Kong in theaters, I could have watched it on my TV, and it's a nice 60-inch 4K. It's a good TV. But no, held off on purpose. And that, yes, that's me, and I'm a movie person, and I love movies. However, I can see how people would be like, that's probably not the movie to watch at home, and they would wait.
Yeah,
and it really wasn't.
Yeah.
More about the success for this one. It made more money than the last one,
which is that doesn't.
The last one I didn't really care for.
No, a lot of people didn't care for it, but still, it's the same general idea. So the fact that a movie that was released in like at least 50% of its viewership should theoretically be coming from a difficult to quantify income source, it's being like kneecapped. Essentially, its box office numbers, and it still did better than the previous release. That's kind of crazy.
Wait,
it also helps that it's a good movie.
Yeah, I didn't put that. So it's doing better in general than the last one.
Already, it's on pace to like by a lot beat the box office money for King of Monsters, which came out in 2019, completely pre-pandemic.
I think it's just a good example of like, I don't know. My view was that with this one, like, it's just a fun like B movie is not always a great thing to like slap onto a movie, but it feels like just a mindless action movie. Then I think that's what people needed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I like that too, because what's funny is I went maybe deeper than this content deserves, but I watched after watching it, I was like, let's go back, and I watched the first Godzilla, and I watched Kong, Skull Island. So first of all, Godzilla the first Godzilla, the one that came out in like I think maybe 2016,
14.
Wow, that long ago.
Yeah, right.
It's like it almost feels like a totally different universe. They tried so hard to really convince you that someone like Chris Nolan made this movie. They try so hard to make it very realistic and gritty, and what would happen if a big monster stood up one day. And then you watch this movie, and like Brian said, it's essentially the modern update of what a B movie would be, without actually being on the Sci-Fi Channel.
The thing that I love,
it's good though.
Yeah, the thing that I love about it is that it's just like one of the old. Pick one of the 30-something Godzillas that came out from 1964 till now, but it's just the modern version of that. Like, it's goofy, it's insanity, it's filled with lore that if you want to dive into, you can, but you don't need to enjoy the movie. And
I was surprised how long we spent on the whole Hollow Earth thing. I was really not expecting that.
I also love that like they handed you the lore through like the vein of Kong. So like he doesn't speak words, so you're just kind of like, oh, okay. So there's like an ancient war. They're ancient enemies, and they used to be like populous in the Hollow Earth until almost all of them died out. And he's still got growing to do. That's the crazy part, is that Kong's gonna get bigger.
People were like, people. I think it was like maybe one viral tweet, but this guy was like, he was like, you guys have to go with the next movie even further and show that war that they had. And I'm hoping they do, because like that's when they went to Hollow Earth, I was just like, oh come on, please. Like, and you got a taste of it.
Well, to that end, it's crazy because this is the first one that doesn't have like a to quote the Weekly Planet, the game is on moment, where it's like, you know what I mean? Where it's genuinely though, like the end of 2014, like the 2014 one had Mothra references, it had Ghidorah references, it had like a bunch of different references, and then Kong Skull Island was all about the founding of Monarch, aka the Monsterverse's shield, and like all this shit, and then King of Monsters was just a lore fest. but this one was the first one that didn't end with like, ooh, the like government got their hands on a Ghidorah head. What's gonna happen? It just ended with Kong being all like, I'm in the Hollow Earth now. Rawr.
I live here. Yeah.
It's my home.
Because I think, I don't know if this has been talked about at all, but I think they're probably, I mean, it was clear with this one they wanted to lean into like a throwback to the old Godzilla movies.
Mhm.
And I think that's the route they're taking. I think they're going away from,
sure.
yeah, and where they can be just one-offs,
Mhm.
you know, where it's two giant animal things fighting each other.
Sure.
And then that's it.
But I do think that they might have anticipated this wouldn't do well. Not
Right.
because they didn't have faith in the movie, but because of what the last one did. Which this one is a much better movie, but I don't think it's like markedly better. Like I don't think it's an insane amount better to justify the amount of money more it's making. Because I think the monster action in the last one was just as good. It's just the human
Oh,
shit from the
man.
last one that was bad.
I like this one because I think the fights really did step up their game. And
Oh,
I
it's
think I'm
definitely
only saying
better.
this because I just rewatched them for some stupid fucking reason. But what I mean is that at the very end, they really made you feel like it was a freaking boxing match. Like
Yeah.
it was cartoonish and it was fantastic.
And like
And
how they were like leaning on buildings and like stepping into
yeah.
buildings.
Oh my God. And
Rough
you even
guess.
cut to the side characters
Oh yeah.
literally cheering as they were fighting, and I was like, "This is crazy! I can't believe this."
Let's all play a game. I don't have an actual figure, so I have no idea who was going to be right. But let's talk about how many people we think have died in these monster
Oh.
incursions in the
I was thinking
Monsterverse.
about that. There were so
Yeah.
many like skyscrapers that just got annihilated.
We have
We're
an
like-
official figure for Godzilla 2014, and I want y'all to guess for that one first.
Oh, well, I
'Cause I
just
have
watched
that.
that one, so I feel like I have
Okay.
a good.
That was San
died?
Francisco.
It
that
was
got-
more than San Francisco.
No, he was kind of all over the
Oh
place.
right,
That
yeah.
It was
one.
like a cross
That was
country
where-
road trip.
That's where it ended. But I don't know.
Did-
I'm gonna guess 1 million.
Okay.
Did I'm gonna go 500,000 people.
Wow, you guys were much more pessimistic than I thought you would be. 80,000 is the official figure.
Oh wow!
Uh,
Wow!
Wow.
now, your guesses would probably be much more accurate for King of Monsters.
I just mean he knocked down the Golden Gate Bridge. He knocked down several buildings and so did that big spidery looking thing in multiple
Muto.
cities. Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Well, something I wanted to mention was, and we kind of were touching on this, but like the first Godzilla movie I saw in theaters, and I remember being excited because they're selling Bryan Cranston in it, and yeah, I love Gareth Edwards, and went into it with kind of some semi low expectations, and we were in a group in that theater that was just so fun. And when Godzilla shoots the like laser down, who's the bad guy in that one?
Is that the Muto?
Which one are we talking about?
The
first
first
one.
In the first one.
It's
Either way,
it's the Mutos. Yeah.
like shoots the laser down its throat. The
Mhm.
whole theater went fucking nuts. Just lost their goddamn minds. And I'm not being a Godzilla fan. I was with them. Like everyone was stood up and cheered, and it was incredible. Which makes me sad that this one I didn't get to see in theaters on like opening night.
Well,
I feel-
I was alone. There was like one other person in the theater other than me, and I was like, "All right, buddy, my guy,
My dude sat right next to him.
I only felt comfortable going because I'm fully vaccinated now. But I was feeling the same kind of way that you're feeling, even though I was in a theater. I was like, man, I wish it was just more me and like this dude, because then we could actually get into it and have fun. As a crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm very excited for going back to the movies. Like that is, I think, what's been missed. It's that community theater feeling.
I agree. I got a little bit of that today in Nobody because we were laughing together, and I was like, "Oh, people, I'll laugh a little louder."
The best estimate for the overall human casualties from King of Monsters is in and around 100 million people.
100 million?
You heard me right, yes. I mean,
Wow.
think about the bit with Rodan when he flies over that like massive part of the city and just atomizes it completely.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There's no way anybody survived that.
Oof.
And then that happens like 4 or 5 more times. And the thing that gets me about Godzilla versus Kong is they did that shit in Hong Kong. It's one of the most densely populated cities on the planet.
Oh, and they ruined the entire city.
The entire city, man. Like,
it's
yeah.
bananas. I want to watch the movie again. It was a good time. I really did. After this, I might turn it on because now I can.
Yeah,
I can just flip it on.
I'm really excited
fun
to see it in theaters, even though I've already seen it. Like, I'm definitely gonna go again. But
oh yeah. No. Well, when do you get your poke?
Well, I get my first poke on Saturday, actually. Woo!
Woo!
I'm
baby!
going from the warehouse tour for the inventor to my appointment. So that's fun.
Well, that'll be fun. Are you excited for the tech scout? Those are fun.
Yeah, I am. Kit's gonna go with and kind of help me with like set deck and stuff like that.
Very cool.
But mostly just to tag along. It's a bit out of the way.
I know. I felt bad when I saw that. I was like, oh, the price is too good to pass up for how far away it is.
Yeah, and I mean the location's awesome, so I don't mind an hour drive. But regardless, I think that's a good place to jump to the next topic.
We have more topics.
Well, I want to talk about other movies we're excited to see in theaters this year.
Oh, okay. Let me real quick. I'm gonna think if I had any other thoughts on Godzilla versus King Kong. Let me find my happy place real quick. You know, I want to say this. This is very important. I don't know why. When I watched the first Godzilla, I was very bored by the cinematography and the colors. I like Gareth Edwards and I like the slow.
It's kind of insane to me because I think that one's like one of the most competently shot, at least from a traditional cinema standpoint.
Right. I'm not saying that it's incompetent. I'm saying it's boring.
I hear you. Okay. Yeah.
So when you get to, I'm not even going to mention King of Monsters because I really dislike that movie.
See, I love that one. That one's my second favorite.
Because to me, it's like that's when they That's when they were trying to cross over into the cartoon territory, and they were like halfway over the bar, and I was like, I don't know where we're at, but I feel off. I feel weird. But so Kong Skull Island, I think that movie is super underrated. Not just in the shot composition and the cinematography, and just the style in general.
That is pretty.
Oh my god, the colors in that movie are absolutely stunning, and that whoever is behind the actual visual style of it, the way that they would montage certain things, when to use slow motion, all of that stuff seemed very, very meticulously planned out and very well executed. And it's a different director this time around for Godzilla versus King Kong, but you can sense that they really liked that style and kind of tried to stick with it as it went on.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that in this one, it's a different color scheme, but they kind of stuck with that kind of, I don't know. I don't want to call it cartoony, but it's stylized. It's very comic booky. Sleek is not the word either. It's just very good. So,
Brian just brought up Brian's got to be muted right now because he's dealing with a family thing.
I tried to be professional and not mention it.
That's for the listeners. But I want to bring up that he in the little chat for our group session here brought up the dude who tries to sacrifice himself but gets yeeted against a cliff instead. It's like, yeah, that movie has a lot of good going for it.
Oh yeah. Wait, in which movie did someone get yeeted?
Kong. You remember the soldier who like pulls the pins on all his grenades and tries to like be a hero?
In Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, and he gets.
Oh, you're talking about Samuel L. Jackson?
No.
Or before that happened.
It's the white dude who like go live your life, and he pulls all his grenades, and he's like approaching the skull crawler, and the skull crawler tail whips him against a cliff. It's like, oh.
I don't know. I think that movie are the characters and everything all surface level? Yeah, sure. But I don't know. I feel like that's a stronger movie overall than Godzilla versus King Kong, and I like them both a lot. And the only thing I wanted to mention at all is that when you look at the first Godzilla and how far they've come visually to this one, where the neon colors and everything like there's splashes of colors everywhere that tell you, it give you a lot of good visual information about the characters in the story as well, in kind of a not very overt way. Is I don't know, well done, and something that's not talked about a whole lot. So
No, sure, I'll pay
kudos
that.
to them.
Yeah, no, and I mean, to your point, I never think about it until someone says, "But it was good," and then I remember that it was actually really good. I just don't think about it. So it's like it's really good. I don't know why it feels forgettable, because it's not really, as far as blockbusters.
No, because after just rewatching all of them, that to me, that is the standout, the Kong Skull Island. And the only comparison I'm making is that I just like last night watched the 2014 Godzilla, and watching that, and then this new one, which is like a color fest, is really funny.
That Halo jump scene in the 2014 Godzilla movie is one of the
That's
best.
pretty good. It's pretty good.
That's like it's kind of unfair. It feels like Halo jumps are like a cheat code for an amazing stunt sequence in an action movie, because the Halo jump
you
in
always have to respect
Fallout,
it.
but you gotta respect it so much.
You have to.
The skydiving scene in Iron Man 3. Oh man,
I'm back.
Yeah.
one day I want to do. Hey Brian.
Hey guys. No, I agree that Halo scene is so good. It's so good in the trailer. It's oh yeah, like with the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know what that is called, but they're like kind of like lamenting behind
chanting. Yeah, there's no music. It's just chanting.
Oh, it's so good.
I hope Dead Meat covers those movies someday. I doubt he will.
You could consider them horror. He's covered Godzilla, like the original Godzilla, on the podcast. So I think that qualifies. You covered the original in a podcast, so it might come up.
Yeah,
who knows?
But yeah, it's good times.
Did Kong Skull Island Did it do well in theaters?
Let me look it up.
Question. I hope so.
I
don't think it did.
I don't think it did. I remember feeling like not many people were seeing it and being like, that was actually a lot of fun. I rewatched Godzilla the other day, and just like I remembered how much I loved that movie. I really enjoyed that one in Kong Skull Island.
Oh yeah, I like them both. I really do. They're very different movies. Like when you watch one right after the other, they feel like they're not even in the same universe.
I know.
Opening credits.
Yep.
So I just think that this one, they definitely took the Kong Skull Island, at least visual style and just overall vibe, versus the Godzilla one, which I'm cool with.
Made 500. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Kong Skull Island made $566.7 million total,
which
is better than Godzilla King of the Monsters.
I think the King of the Monsters just got panned.
It did. It got obliterated.
Okay.
Yeah, because like the one thing that Skull Island has going for it is that on Rotten Tomatoes and critically, it did really well. But Godzilla King of the Monsters kind of got brutalized a little bit.
It's so funny how that works. Like, I don't know. It like in the end, it is the same type of movie, but I just there's a clear variation in that movie where they try to like just lower you to death and put all these new characters in.
Yep.
And I don't know. That's why I think this most recent one just lands, because they do a little bit of that, but all the characters are very flat, I think purposefully. But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I think
what I said on the way out, and I think this kind of summarizes what you just said as well. It felt a lot like I had just walked out of a Transformers movie.
Yeah,
where all the characters are, where it's very flashy. But at least in this one, it's not flashy in a Michael Bay sweeping camera movement way. It's like in a Rocky type way, but also just the characters. You're only giving them essentially stereotypes at the very front, and we're not digging too deep into motivation, into this and that. But there's so much kinetic energy as soon as it begins. You don't even have time to wonder why you're not learning more. You're just like, oh, all right, we're moving on. Okay, woo, let's go. You know, I liked it, and like I said, it felt like a Transformers movie, but in a good way.
Yeah,
in a COVID movie we needed type of way.
Exactly.
Bet you Disney's kind of either kicking themselves or relieved that they finally announced that they're doing the hybrid model for Black Widow.
I read somewhere, I don't know these numbers, but that they're poised to make 3 times as much now, or like releasing it when they're planning on releasing it, versus if they had just released it in April like they planned. Like,
yeah, I'm not
tripling the money that they're
Yeah,
going to
no,
make.
I think when it's coming out, and it will probably end up having been the best decision, but like I don't know, it's tough because it's like hindsight is a benefit in these situations. Like they didn't know that the vaccine rollout was going to go as well as it did. Yeah, it is though. Like yeah, like it's funny before Godzilla versus Kong came out, like earnings projections for Black Widow were like kind of minuscule, and then Godzilla versus Kong comes out, does numbers, and now all the projections are like 4 times as high. It's pretty
Even with the hybrid
ridiculous.
model, yeah, they're going to make a lot of money on that
Yeah.
one.
Well,
And
the
I'm
thing
I'm
with
happy
them,
to just see it at this point. I feel like it has more trailers than any other movie ever made, because every 2 weeks there's another trailer for it, and I'm like, how many more ways can you recut this fucking thing?
Turns out,
I
many ways.
I guess so. I know what's in it at this point.
we'll get into it a little bit more when we talk specifically about all the Marvel stuff. But I just this one, it's like it sucks that this is the one that's been like teased for 2 years, because it's like it's exciting that we're having a Black Widow movie, and maybe I'll be proven wrong when it comes out, but I do not know how much this movie's going to add to the universe. You know what I mean?
Well, it takes place in the past anyway,
That's
so
what
I
I'm
don't.
saying. So it's like,
It's
why
not
didn't they
really
just?
about forward thinking
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what I mean. It's like it's weird that like I understand like not wanting to release like Shang-Chi or the Eternals or any of the new ones, because like they're gonna do new things, and you don't want to like release those. You know what I mean? Like you got to keep in mind when you release the TV shit with when you release the movies, because like things tie together. But like the only thing I can theoretically conceive now, unless they go crazy with Black Widow, the only thing that I could see it tying into is like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But like
Oh,
I
yeah.
just maybe. But anyway, I mean, I am excited to see it like a lot. I'm excited for more Marvel movies, and Black Widow's a good character. So
I mean, sorry, one more thing about that. Not, we'll save some of this, but I do wonder how Mulan did, and if that played a role.
I have a feeling not
like,
well.
Yeah,
I
because
just have a gut feeling that like Mulan and the other ones that you had to pay a premium for really didn't do as well as they probably either were hoping or are telling people that it did.
I think we'll like maybe it'll depend on the like perceived value of the title. Like I think because like they released Soul without a pay gap, like you could just watch that, and that's because it kind of came out to like no fanfare, and it was like a passion project Pixar movie. But like something like Mulan is a big, like a couple $100 million blockbuster, and China probably had a lot of money it tied up in it as well. And like Black
China
Widow's,
maybe.
yeah, and like Black Widow's a big time Marvel. It's the first Marvel movie since 2019 I think, yeah. Which is it's the first. This is the longest gap between Marvel movies since like Phase 1 for like almost 10 years. So people are like ravenous for more. That's why I think the shows are doing so well. So I do think that the shows are great, but I don't think
it's good filler.
It's good filler, yeah, but I think they're doing extra well because of how much people just wanted more.
Yeah, well,
MCU
we don't have anything else to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that's pretty much it. I mean, it's that simple.
I'm very excited for No Time to Die to finally come out. Equal,
I don't think it's gonna.
Yeah,
equal parts, so we can like, because I think it'll be fun, and because I just want someone else to be able to be Bond now.
I'm convinced Cary Fukunaga just shot a trailer.
Yeah, like he was just like, did it.
But I agree with you, Tyler. That one, I'm very excited for, and I'm also super super excited for Dune.
Oh my god, yeah.
I am
I
so ready.
So have you guys? I just started reading the book. Have you guys read it at all, or
I am
ever?
No, I
currently
know
halfway
nothing
through it.
about that universe.
Ty, when I'm done, I'll lend you it. If you, I think you guys would like it. It is hard. Like it is.
It is a tedious read
Yeah.
for sure. Like I
w-
said, I'm halfway through it. I just got to the part where Paul and his mother got thrown into the desert and abandoned there.
Yep.
And I know what comes next because I know the story, which is kind of why it's hard for me to continue. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, let's just finish Dune, and I'm like, but you know what happens? Maybe tomorrow, and it's been doing that for a couple weeks now.
I'm really thrilled that there's like a new high budget blockbuster coming out that might start a franchise that I know nothing about. I'm so excited. It's even Godzilla. I'm the kind of nerd that knows way more useless shit about nerdy shit than he rightly should. Like I know so much about like Godzilla monsters cuz like what I'll do, and it's not like a lot of people say this isn't like really being a fan of something, and I completely agree. Uh but it's like when I a thing comes out that has lore, I will like read Wikipedia articles and watch like fan made short films and read like web comics and stuff like that just to fucking hyperdose on the lore. So like when Godzilla versus Kong came out, I was like, it's great. I need to know more about this universe. Where could it possibly go? I looked up like all the other monsters that Godzilla's fought over the years and potential things that could come that are more powerful than Ghidorah and stuff like that. I know nothing about the Dune universe, and I'm really excited that I'm going to be able to watch it completely naively.
Are you planning to walk in like blind? You don't
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to
I want to walk
really
in
get a
completely blind. I haven't watched any like promo material. I've seen like some of the set photos because I have a crush on Rebecca Ferguson, but otherwise,
well, how can you not?
nah, I know, right? Yeah,
Is she going to be wearing that hat from Doctor Sleep? Because I
I
hope
hope
not.
so.
I
She should
hope
just
not.
she should
She
just
can't not wear it.
dress like her character from Doctor Sleep, or her character from,
That's fine. I don't like that hat.
or her
It just
character
doesn't
from
seem like it fits her. Anyway, I'm sorry.
or her character from Mission Impossible, or just like what she normally wears in a normal day. I'm really a
Okay,
big fan of her. But
I
anyway,
can see that. I'm trying to decide based on what I know about you if you're gonna like Dune.
Wyatt. I'm curious. Like I won't really go into it much, but there's like, and you like Lord of the Rings, so I'm not worried about you like being stumped by just deep like Dune
like
lore and like
fantasy
Oh
lore
yeah,
and
there's
stuff
a
like
fantasy
lot
that.
of
words
deep.
and all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
You'll be
Um,
fine with that shit.
but I'm just curious how they're gonna go about that in a movie. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, because there's a lot of just explaining.
Well, I do know that this is like the fourth time they've tried to start this franchise.
Mhm.
Well, they keep trying to. They did a movie with David Lynch a while ago, and
Hmm.
it was just a big old stinker,
And
apparently.
then
So
there was
But
like a
that's
show.
what has me so curious because it's like I had no idea what it was, and I would always hear Dune, and because I listen to nerdy podcasts and watch
uh,
nerdy shows, so I hear people talk about Dune, and I'm
so
just like,
here's a good
cool.
example.
But I
I
have
think.
no idea. I had no idea it was this big lore heavy universe.
Have you read or know anything about the Dark Tower as well?
Yeah.
So the reason that one it had its failed adaptation and it's also failed so many times is, I think, for a similar reason, is that there's a lot of deep lore and it's really hard to tell the movie or to tell the story of the movie in a convincing way without somehow conveying all that information to you. And no one just wants to sit there and be talked to for 2 hours. So you have to find a way to like convey all of that through visuals somehow in a though
Yeah.
I think the one thing that does it super effectively is like Mad Max, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
The new one. I know that it's the fourth in the franchise, but it really feels like a different thing to me.
It's
But I
totally
guess
new.
Fun thing
yeah.
about that franchise though is like until the new one, he's never really thought of it like a continuity. Like they're just stories, they're fables of this wandering
Oh yeah, you
wasteland
can't.
hero.
If we before the new one came out, Candyman and I marathoned them all, and we were like, "What?" After the second or third one, we were like, "They gave up." They were like, "Fuck this," just because you can tell each. So the first one looks like it was made for $1. Like they're literally wearing.
As it was.
So
yeah,
he personally funded the entire production of the first one.
So then you get to the second one, and it's like, holy crap, where'd all this money come from? It's a whole other deal. And then you get to like the third and fourth one, and the fourth one, like I said, a whole other thing. But the third one, that's when they got big boy money, like real money.
Yeah, it's when they got like Robin Hood.
Each time they were like, let's just do the best Mad Max story we can, but with this money. It was never like, let's find a way to continue the story. It was, ooh, now we have money. Forget what we did before. Let's take the Mad Max universe and just tell the best story that we can. So that's kind of what it seems like.
Speaking of Mad Max, aren't we getting Furiosa this year?
I keep hearing about it, but I haven't seen anything.
Let me look it up.
But anyway, the reason I even drew that parallel is that that's an effective way of conveying. They don't have a lot of lore in Mad Max, but you do get a lot of information about the storyline and whatnot through very, very minimal dialogue. And I think that with Dune, and then also the reason I brought up the Dark Tower is it's the same sort of level where there's so much there that if you don't understand the concept of like why Roland is where he is and like what he's doing, you'll be like, what is this about? Why is there an endless desert? What the hell does this tower even do? And that's kind of how I feel about failed Dune adaptations. Is that why are we on this planet? What is going on? And then once you start getting into all of the different House of Harkonnen, House of all these different things, it starts to feel like Game of Thrones, and you're like, wait, hold on. Should this be a TV show? I don't know. I feel like Dune probably should have been a TV show.
I think is Denny his last name I can't say.
It's so hard.
Villeneuve?
Something like that.
I think he has taken enough like really hardy topics and presented them in a way like especially what is it? Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And presented it in a way that if you don't know what's going on in that universe, you can kind of just jump in enough.
For sure.
I think
I agree.
But
he's the right guy to do it.
On a similar topic, like I've been listening to the King cast going into all the Stephen King world. Have you listened to that?
Yes.
It's really good.
I love it.
And they were talking about the Dark Tower and also talking about The Shining, and they were like debating like just talking about what they think about The Shining and how, famously Stephen King was not happy with it. And since then they've tried like I think a TV movie that was terrible.
He directed it and it was awful.
Well, he didn't direct it, but it was like a it was another like mini series.
Oh, right.
And I think it was his idea to do it. And I think the studio said, "Why do you want to do this?" And he was like, "Because fuck the movie." And they said, "It's not a good reason to make a miniseries, Stephen King." And he's like, "Well, I'm Stephen King." And they said, "You make a very good point."
You are.
I think it's hilarious too. Can I just say this? This is not relevant really to the podcast as much as it is the people doing the podcast. But this is my two best friends on the planet talking about Stephen King over top of someone who is a surface level understanding of the lore. And I just think I just think it's really funny because like I appreciate the man and he's definitely a genius. And I usually like the stuff, especially recently. But I've never finished a Stephen King book. And that has as much to do with my inability to focus on reading anymore as it does everything else.
I have only the pandemic to thank for. Well, not really. Sorry, I started my Stephen King dipping up the toes in like 2019, but it was really just the pandemic gave me the extra time to like want to get really back into reading because I slipped off of it for many years because school does that to you, and I not only did I like dip a toe in, I ended up diving head first. Like I would try reading another book that wasn't by Stephen King, and I was like, it's not crazy enough. And so I would pick up another Stephen King. I don't even know how many Stephen King books I read over quarantine and before as well. Like I started to go chronologically, like when they were written. Then I stopped and I was like, no, I'm just gonna go off of like what. I was struggling with trying to keep up with what was current that he's been doing and also trying to just read the more popular ones so that I could catch myself up to speed. I'm saving The Shining for like a really rainy day because I haven't read it yet and I want to read it, but I want to do it in like 1 or 2 sittings. I don't want to like piecemeal it for like 2 weeks.
That's one that'll you'll finish it in 2 days probably.
Can't wait. But yeah, ones that I read over quarantine were like The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, The Body. I started with Carrie and It, obviously. So I am so into it now. So now I'm an official kingy, and it's only been a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, man.
I'm deep.
Yeah. I mean, just to finish up the Dune talk, my goal is to finish Dune and then go back into the King-verse.
King-verse.
Yeah. But either way, yes. I don't know. It definitely, I don't think his stuff is for everybody, but it tickles certain people, and
oh, for sure.
Yeah. But just to get back real quick to that point, like his books are great, but sometimes they don't translate, and I think you need certain people to be like, no, this is how a movie is going to work.
I agree.
Like, it's going to work this way. And yeah, I think The Shining is a perfect example, and you'll see when you read the book. Like, I think there's parts of it that Kubrick did perfectly that he hates.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing too is I'm also afraid to read it because I love The Shining. I love it. Oh my god, I'm in love with it.
To be honest, it made me rethink the movie a little bit because there are parts of the book that I really liked more. But I understand why they couldn't put them into a movie. But that's not here or there. But yeah.
I gotta do this now. I gotta do it probably tomorrow.
So another movie I like just the other day realized is coming out somewhat soon is Edgar Wright's new movie, Last Night in Soho.
Oh yeah,
I'm so excited.
And this is somewhat related, but today he tweeted out a a video of a trailer. I didn't know he edited one of the trailers for Hot Fuzz when it was coming out, which blows my mind because it is like now working in trailers. Like, I'm like, that's a really good edit. Like, he is incredible. Dude's nuts. But yeah, I'm excited for that one.
October, I believe.
Apparently there's a new Minions movie coming out.
Yeah. Can we talk about one that I don't think you're going to believe me when I say I'm excited for, but I actually really am excited for?
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Don't play with me.
Is it In the Heights?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
You're not excited for that movie?
I'm not.
Top Gun.
Do not like Lin-Manuel Miranda.
What the hell's the matter with you? Do you hate America?
No, I don't like the man. And
what?
He's not awesome. Anyway.
What are you talking about? Wait, tell me why.
No, I don't want to get into it. That's not what this podcast is about.
No, this is exactly what it's about. What are you talking about?
I think, well, I think I know, but I don't know.
I have no idea what would make someone not like
he's cringy. He's like I don't know if he's problematic. He's just a little annoying. That's what I think.
Oh yeah, he's not problematic. It just
you made it sound like he like touched a kid or something.
Oh no. I just don't like him. I just think I think he's real. He's really annoying. I don't love all the like hype for his shit, and I like musicals, so it's not like I hate musicals thing. Like I'm a geek for theater, so like it's not it. I just don't love that. Plus, like, he sells self-portraits on his website for like $300,000. Not really that much, but it's like that's a little.
I was going to mention that too.
Well, I didn't know that.
That's a little masturbatory, and I feel like every time I see him do an interview or talk about things, it's like he only like in the last like 8 years got like really famous and successful, and he talks like someone who has had the most storied career in all of media history, and he rubs me the wrong way. But anyway, keep guessing.
Is it Spiral?
No, actually no.
I don't know. What is
Black? You get one more.
I'm like guessing things that I wouldn't think, but is it the Avatar sequel?
No, absolutely not.
Halloween Kills.
No, that one I am just excited for, and I don't expect you to be surprised.
Wait.
It's The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Wait, what?
There's a sequel to The Hitman's Bodyguard coming out this year, and I'm really excited for it because I like the first one.
Boo. All that hype for nothing.
Well, I said you probably wouldn't believe me.
Oh, I believe you. I just can't believe you strung us along for that reveal.
Is that the one that like
Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah,
and it came out against something else, and it just obliterated.
It got obliterated, and I don't think it was justifiably obliterated. I think it's a really charming buddy comedy. We don't get good action comedy ever anymore, and when one comes out that's not really insulting to watch, I get really excited about it because action comedy.
Watch Nobody.
Action comedy is one of my favorite things. I'm really stoked.
Surprisingly funny.
No, I'm really stoked for Nobody. I genuinely, but it's like it's like Ryan Reynolds being peak Ryan Reynolds, Sam Jackson being peak Sam Jackson, and it's like difficult to not have a good time with that. But anyway, a real one that I'm actually excited for is freaking Mortal Kombat. I just saw that on the list here, but A Quiet Place Part 2.
Yeah, that movie was a lot of fun in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it gets enough love. It did at the time, but I don't know. I honestly haven't rewatched the first one since it came out, so at some point soon I'll watch that. Because it was a lot of fun.
I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, something that might surprise you guys. I watched the original Space Jam for the first time the other day.
What did you think from a perspective of never seeing it before?
Yeah, I have a newfound appreciation for basketball over the last 7 years, and that especially basketball from that time, and it was great. So, and I'm also I like LeBron too as a person, and I'm really stoked to see the new one.
Yeah, and honestly, that was I think my last one. The sequel is probably the other movie I'm excited for. Mm-hmm. That trailer looked really fun. I'm also down for all those people were calling it the "Did you notice that thing?" or "Did you see that moment?" movie.
Yeah, it looks a little like it's gonna be pretty Ready Player One-y.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't love Ready Player One, but also this one feels like it's gonna be a lot less. It's gonna take itself a lot less serious.
Right. Yeah. I think it'll be fun. It looks like it.
I also think it's weird that they made such a statement by removing Pepe Le Pew, even though he was in a scene where they legitimately were like, this is a terrible character and we should have never let this happen.
Yeah, it's stupid because they could totally do a thing where they sit him down and go, "Don't be rapey."
There's a scene where they did it. They just cut it out of the movie.
Oh,
but they have the guys from the Clockwork Orange cheering on the Looney Tunes.
It's stupid.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
they're not prominently featured, but they're prominently featured enough that you notice them in the trailer.
You just got Pepe Le Pew for being a little strong. Those dudes are rapists.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's all right, we appreciate it, Warner Brothers, but also what the fuck, guys?
I wouldn't be surprised if that's not in the final.
Yeah, anymore. Especially after the way people are reacting to it. It'd be easy to cut out because it's just a little.
Here's the thing: if you had not done the Pepe Le Pew shit, no one would give a fuck that they were in the background.
No
one would care. No one even.
And maybe they're banking. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe they're banking on the fact that modern viewers, especially viewers of Space Jam, aren't gonna notice or know who they are. But also you made such a stink.
It's a kids movie. Why would you put those characters in a kids movie?
Yeah, I think Pennywise is in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
In the background.
What? They're trying to create a WB universe.
It's like IP porn.
That's not very smart. That's weird.
No.
Oh, speaking of which, this is totally off topic. I was in Barnes and Noble today, and guess what I saw?
What?
What?
You have to guess.
Something Harry Potter related, like a J.K. Rowling's best
you
hits.
saw a book.
No, I saw a new edition of Clue, but it is an It edition.
Ooh.
That's actually kind of fun.
That sounds really cool.
It sounds fun, but then I thought about it and I was like, well, it's either Pennywise did it or Pennywise did it.
Or Henry Bowers.
So it's either you're gonna guess Henry Bowers or Pennywise.
Basic, or maybe one of the serial killer kid in town. I don't know.
That's what I mean. I feel like the options there are quite limited.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I honestly, yeah, you're right. I don't know how the fuck you do that, but
I don't. I could figure it out. I don't know. I didn't investigate further, but I'm interested.
Can we talk about the ridiculously insane year for movies we're gonna have though for a little bit longer? Because like just to rattle off a few like rapid fire, we have Shang-Chi, we have James Gunn's The Suicide Squad,
which is my number one. I can't wait.
Probably me too, even though we're getting Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, and a new mission. We're getting a new Mission Impossible.
Oh, Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3.
I'm going to change my answer to Spider-Man 3.
We're getting Mission Impossible 7. We're getting The Eternals, which isn't probably as hyped, but the cast has a lot of dedicated following, so that one's probably going to make a lot of money. That has the potential to be like another James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy-esque experience, because it's a bunch of characters that weren't really anything in the comics, but they're banking on the cast kind of elevating it.
I hope so.
But we've got
made Kumail Nanjiani get shredded for nothing.
Mm-hmm. And I'm excited, like Richard Madden, Angelina Jolie. We got a bunch of cool people in that. Venom. There's a new Venom coming out.
Right. Oh my god.
It's like we've got a ton of the Candyman coming out.
I just rewatched the trailer for that yesterday, and I was like, that movie's gonna be too good.
Mm-hmm. Black Widow, Top Gun. We've got a lot of like pretty big movies coming out.
Top Gun one I'm excited for, actually.
We got a lot of pretty big movies coming out Matrix 4.
That I'm not excited for, to be honest. But
I'm not either, but I'm excited for Wyatt because he just recently figured out that he loves the Matrix movies.
I love the No, hold on. I love the Matrix movie. So the first Matrix is a masterpiece. Oh my goodness. The second Matrix and the third Matrix, they suck so hard. They suck so hard. It's wild how it went from being so good to so bad immediately.
Oh.
It just took everything that was interesting about it. The tight script. There's not an inch of fat on that thing. And every single thing that happened mattered in such a big way. And it completely reconfigured your sense of reality. And then you get to the second one, and you spend all this time lore building and all this time in like the human like underground camp thing. And I'm like, this is all the shit I didn't care about. This is the shit I cared about the least. And it's the whole movie. Like, ugh. Turn it off. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say sometimes that's why, like, and this is not how it works at all. But one would be good, and that's it.
Yes, yeah. Honestly, for sure. Because I don't want to say that the second or third one ruined it for me, but like when I think about the first Matrix, I like actively have to try to not think about the other two. Just be like, they just don't think about them. They're not there. Because I know it's money. I know, and it's, and you look at something like that and you might think, yeah, that's definitely franchisable. But
it can.
they just didn't do it well.
I'm going to have to rewatch.
The fourth one
Go ahead.
would be really, I think a fourth one has a potential if they Mad Max it to do it very good. I just hope that they don't like try and continue the storyline or something.
Yeah. In anticipation for this one, I'm going to have to rewatch the first one because I do not remember any of the movies fondly. But that could just be the stink of the second and third movie kind of perverting my opinion of the first one. I'd totally own that. But since I saw it like 10 years ago, I've felt this way. But yeah, that kind of brings us to the end of this podcast. Oh, one more. Sorry. And I don't know how to feel about it because I really love the first one. And I love the universe, but the second one disappointed me, is The King's Man.
Oh, I want to see it.
I'm excited, but I also don't know.
I want to see it because I heard that Matthew Vaughn wrote this script. He just wrote it, and he was like, I want to make this movie.
Okay.
And he was trying to get it made, and he couldn't. he was like, well, I guess I'll make it a Kingsman prequel, and then someone will let me make it, and that's exactly what happened. So I kind of like that sometimes when a movie is so unique and fresh that they can't get it made unless they attach it to something. So I'm interested to see how that plays out, or maybe it sucks and he had to sneak a sucky script into the Kingsman universe. Who knows?
I have faith in him though. He's a pretty reliable.
He's never made a movie that I was not impressed with.
Yeah.
Who made the second one? Was it not him?
He made the second one as well, but I still liked it. I don't dislike it. I just don't think that it's definitely his lowest project, but if that's your worst, then like you're good.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, so I that is on my list actually.
It's not like it's really not bad. It just does a lot. Excuse me. It does a lot of things that are like what weird. Why?
It also, the only things about it are, story wise, it starts to do some things like Tyler said. You're like, you could be doing something new.
Yeah,
and I think it doesn't retread territory in the way that you're probably thinking. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin anything.
Yeah, me neither. But it's like, yeah. Anyway, that kind of brings me to the end of what we were talking about, so we can start wrapping it up. I wanted to ask you guys, because the next episode is gonna be the Marvel TV stuff. We're gonna do all of WandaVision, a brief little recap, summary, and review. We're gonna do the first 4 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then we're gonna talk about all the upcoming movies and TV shows in depth. So that one's spoken for. But the episode after that, we'll probably review. I don't know if it'll be out by then. It won't be. Never mind. But I don't think there's anything specific to review coming out. So we need a topic. What were y'all thinking? I was thinking we could talk about movies in established franchises that we hate.
Interesting.
The Matrix 2 and 3.
Well, yeah, that's why I smiled big when you started to rant, because I was like, "Yay!"
I hate them.
Or even movies that you think are extremely underrated. I don't know if you guys.
We could do the inverse, yeah, because I think Iron Man 3 is a grotesquely underrated Marvel movie.
And
Kong Skull Island.
There you go.
So since we were talking about the Wachowskis, I honestly don't remember this movie that well, but I remember liking it when I saw it with Freddie at the time. Did you guys ever see Cloud Atlas?
I haven't. I heard that the book is actually super good, but that the movie is wild.
This is also at the time where I just liked whatever I watched. So, and I wasn't cynical. So I loved it, but I don't remember. But I'd have to revisit it because it is wild. Yeah. It is not nonsense. But yeah, I don't know. That may be one of those movies.
I think that's what we'll talk about then. We'll talk about movies. Either one. We could talk about movies from established franchises that we think are underrated or terrible. The one that I think are terrible, I'm not sure, but I would like to talk about Iron Man 3.
So normally before we do a podcast, I try and like I did with the Monsterverse, do some homework. But if we do this topic, I hold you personally responsible if I end up rewatching The Matrix 2 and 3. I'm gonna make you pay for it.
Okay.
In a big way.
All right.
Big way.
But before we go, I want everyone to know that I saw Nobody again because it's super good. And it's basically John Wick 4. So go watch it. It's really well made, and Bob Odenkirk is surprisingly has a very just stern and sturdy performance. A very, very interesting turn for him, who's usually a kind of quirky, energetic guy. It's like he's like the opposite of John Wick in terms of his personality and his approach to things. So you know how John Wick is kind of like, I want out of this. I don't want to be a part of it anymore. He's kind of addicted to it. So he likes it. Like when he gets going, he gets more and more. So it's a new take on John Wick. So go see that shit. And also, I happened to watch a movie called Bad Trip starring Eric Andre.
It's real good.
That movie is hilarious. It's so funny.
There's a couple bits in it that are good.
unbelievably funny. Oh my god!
It is like, oh, I haven't laughed that hard in a while.
I was watching it alone while I was like doing stuff for the Kickstarter this morning. Like I threw it on, was working, and I laughed out loud in the apartment by myself, which I never do when I watch a movie. Because usually when I watch a movie and I'm alone, I just, even if I think it's hilarious, I don't usually make a sound, which I guess is probably weird now that I say that out loud. I was howling in this apartment by myself at this fucking movie. It is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, there's this scene where he's in love with a girl, and you know how in like in romantic movies they do it in 500 Days of Summer, when you find the one that you love, you run down the streets and everyone breaks into song and dance. So he does that, and they definitely had some actors come in and do some of the dancing with him, but everyone who's actually there in the streets, they have no idea what the hell is going on. There's no music playing for them. It just happened. And Eric Andre jumps on top of this giant like cake it's like a statue or something like that, and he's knocking bits of it over, and these people in the food court are like, what the you could see it, they're just like, what the fuck is happening? And I don't want to ruin all the good bits, but Brian has seen it, so he'll know what I'm talking about. My mouth was open the entire time when he was in the gorilla enclosure. Yeah.
Didn't he get a knife pulled on him while he was making this movie?
Probably. Oh no, he did. Yeah, it's in the movie. I remember.
It's in the movie.
Awesome.
Yeah. He almost quit, apparently.
Who, Eric Andre?
Yeah. Which is interesting because I thought this was his doing, but it's the Jackass guys that developed this thing. And so he likes to do the prank stuff, but I think he was a little scared with some of the pranks they were developing for this. And
it's fucking awesome. The Knoxville crew scared Eric Andre.
It's the Gorilla Flicks guy. I forget the director. Tremaine.
Yeah, Tremaine. That's fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah. Without going into all the details, you should watch it, Tyler.
I'm
really.
gonna.
It's wild.
No, I'm gonna, because now again, you two are like my litmus test for movies. If one of you likes it, I probably will like it. If both of you like it, I'm gonna love it. So you both have now recommended this to me.
I laughed so much, and the scene where he got a knife pulled on him, I was actually like concerned. I was like, oh my god, because it wasn't like a symbolic knife pulling. More they pull it out with like, get away from me, motherfucker. Like they're not, like when they don't mean it. This guy pulled it out with intent to slash, and they ran.
Yep. He was gonna die if they stayed in where they were.
That's insane.
That's for sure.
But yeah.
Well, I'm gonna recommend the thing that I've been loving, and I talked about it the last time with Wyatt. It's the Invincible cartoon. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, right.
It's stellar, bro. Like the comic has been on my list of want to reads for so long. But it kind of just avoided me, and now the show is out, and it's kind of doing the same story. And as much as I love and respect comics, I tend to enjoy things better in like an audiovisual medium. So I'm gonna just finish the show and then read the comic. But dude, I'd love it so much because I'm a whore for superhero animated stuff, and it's superhero animated stuff that isn't the big two. So it's, for those of you who don't know, for comics, the big two are Marvel and DC. It's an Image Comics character, Invincible, and it's so good. And it's for adults, so it can be really funny. It can be a little bit more violent, I'll say. And I love it so much. And I want you two to watch it very badly so we could talk about it.
I'm going to check out the first episode at lunch tomorrow because I've been because I have an hour for lunch now, so I've been taking to the time to I've been watching the Falcon Winter Soldier. Then.
Well, it's 45 minutes, so it'll fit in right between the time where you're microwaving your food and cleaning up your dishes.
Yep.
Anyway, that's all I had. I don't know about you guys. Anything else you wanted to get in before we wrap it up?
I do want to say that right now, if you go to Kickstarter.com and you click on film and you scroll down, who's that right next to Mystery Science Theater 3000? It's us. How cool is that?
That's pretty insane.
It's weird. There's Patton Oswalt, and then one more result over, and there's Tyler Stout.
You should send it to Patton.
We really should. No, we should tweet at him and be like, "Hey, Patton Oswalt, we're coming for your slot.
We're coming for your $1 million slot."
No, that's crazy though. I'm kind of been blown away by the support we've been getting for the Inventor season 2. And if anybody listening to this doesn't know, we have our Kickstarter going.
We only need $89. Please, just end it. I'm so sick of refreshing.
I have a feeling in the morning it's gonna be. You're gonna hit it.
I hope so.
So
it's been there's still 27 days left, so who knows. But I will say that this thing has absorbed so much of my life. Just not just the construction of the page itself, but actually promoting it and talking to people about it. So for it to almost already be done within 3 days, I am eternally grateful to not have to monitor it 24/7 for at least a little bit. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, that's some good stuff. And the podcasting social posts have been doing well. We have I think 10 new subscribers since relaunching the podcasts.
Bam.
That's awesome growth. So thank you to everyone who's listening to this stuff. We really, really appreciate it because it's what we love doing, and to be doing it in a way that is seeming to take an upward trend and might eventually be able to be our jobs. I mean, that's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, that doesn't suck.
No. So thank you everyone who's listening. We're not going to stop, but we are going to stop this particular thing for today.
That's for sure. Yes.
So because I'm tired and I still got to edit it because it goes up tomorrow. So thank you so much for listening. You can find us on all the social medias. Just look in the description. My name is Tyler Stout. This is the part where the other guys say their names.
Oh, right.
If they want
their names.
Their names, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all they're getting. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.